Yo, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, family. What's going on? What's the deal? What's the deal? We got some stuff back here we need to clean up. All right. But we are in this fast. We're gonna clean. Tomorrow is a cleaning day. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. How y'all doing? How we doing out there? How we doing out there? How we doing? How we doing? Whew. Day two. Day two, 50 days, divine discipline. Y'all know that I am always honest, always transparent, sometimes to a fault, right? Some people say, you don't got to tell everything. And I don't tell everything, but I like to tell the important things. And so, one thing before we even get into tonight's stream and we get into meditation, set some intentions, got to tell the truth. I did not stick to the fast yesterday. Yesterday, I broke fast. Yesterday, much of the day, my birthday, I did not eat. I drank only water. And I got a call from my children. And if you know me, if you've been paying attention to my socials, if you've been tuned into the shows, you know that I am experiencing a very tough situation right now with my children. And my son called me, right, on his phone, and got my daughter, and we spoke for 30, 40 minutes or so, and it was a beautiful conversation. But of course, they had to go, get ready for the night, had some stuff to do. And that conversation with them, that experience of talking with them, it hit me, right? It hit me, and it did something to me inside. And yeah, as I did my run afterwards, I just was thinking about them, and I was getting extremely emotional because it's nothing replaces physical contact with your children. Nothing replaces being able to hug your children. Nothing replaces having your children in your home, laughing and joking and running around, and nothing replaces that. And so, although I got a phone call, and although we do weekly Zooms, I have not seen my children in 6 months now, right? Since September. I've not seen them since September. And it's heavy. It gets heavy. And so last night, I after the call, needed some extra comfort, right? Kimono was here, and that was a blessing. She is a blessing, but I needed some extra comfort, and so I ate some food yesterday, and I drank a beverage. And I felt terrible immediately after. Physically, I felt terrible. I felt terribly emotionally, right? Because I knew that I had to share, and I wanted to share this with you all, let you know, like, I'm all about keeping it real, not just when things are great, but when things are not so great, and not just when we win, but also when we lose, when we fail, and when we have no one to blame but ourselves. And so, I was not strong enough last night. I was not strong enough um, to resist that urge, that inner calling for that comfort food, right? And so I broke fast yesterday. Today has been a lot better. Today has been, so much stronger, so much clearer. Again, I felt terrible yesterday. I do not want to feel that again. And so today is really right. Is day one of the fast. Right. Yesterday again we fasted majority of the day yesterday, but definitely last night, as the day was coming to a close, after my call with my children, I definitely ate. And so let me apologize for those who follow, those who are tuned in, those who care about this fast, those who care about this mission, who care about this journey, who are invested in it in different ways. All right, some are invested just personally, some are invested emotionally, mentally invested, some are invested financially. And so I just wanted to open up with that. I wanted to open up with that, right? And just say, yeah, honor my integrity, right, of being honest, when I slip, when I don't fulfill the promise that I committed to. So yeah, I wanted to just open with that, right? And then, it is day two of the campaign. All right, the campaign, we are most likely going to go 51 days now, right? Because we dropped the ball yesterday. So we're going to do 51 days of the campaign, which will be 50 days of the fast, 51 days of the fundraiser, right? But yeah, day two, man, day two, emotional still, right? Still feeling the sluggishness of Friday, all right, Friday's party. uh, got a little more clarity. Right, was talking to Mona earlier about this process of moving, right? Because I'm leaving here also, right? So it's a lot going on, man. Like it seems that I choose to do fast when there's a lot happening, right? I don't think I have yet to do a fast when it was like when everything was like steady. My longest fast, there's always stuff going on with my children, stuff going on with my family. Now not only is there stuff going on with my children, it's also I got to leave the place that I've been living the last 6 years, right? Almost 7 years. Um, and that's emotional. It's emotional for multiple reasons. All right. One reason is because leaving any place that you've made home can be emotional. And the last time my children were here was 4 years ago. All right. And so like having to leave without them like coming back to the space, saying their goodbye, that creates its own level of emotion. Um, but I know that as I go deeper into the fast, right? Day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 10, day 15. As we move forward, I'm going to get mentally strong. I'm going to get emotionally strong. I'm going to get a lot more clarity. Right, all that is going to come as it's just going to come. It's just what happens. All right. One, because I'm asking for it in prayer. I'm asking for more strength. I'm asking for more clarity. I'm asking for more discipline. I'm asking for more emotional and mental stamina. Right. And awareness and all of that stuff. And so I will be better as the days go on. All right, I will get stronger as the days go on, become more resilient, and all of that stuff. Right. Um, so we want to begin. All right. Each stream with sort of like a meditation or like just some breathing, some grounding. Right. And so I want to take just 2 minutes of your time if you are tuned in and if you are sitting, if you are laying, if you can just find a comfortable position. All right, to just allow yourself to be still and to be comfortable in your seat, in your bed, on your couch, in your car, right? Hopefully not driving. And just feel your body. Right? Just feel your body. You can roll your neck, you can roll your shoulders, right? You can wiggle your toes, you can move your fingers, rotate your hands. Just feel your body and give thanks for your body that has carried you thus far, that has grown, that has endured wear and tear, maybe some sprains, some fractures, some breaks, maybe. Just acknowledge your body, you know that it has been through thus far in your life and it's still keeping you up. It is still signaling to you when you are hungry. It is still able to laugh. It is still alive. Your body is still alive. It is still here, keeping you grounded, keeping you strong, keeping you safe. Just feel your body, acknowledge all of the pains, acknowledge all of the discomfort, and acknowledge the ease, acknowledge the flow, acknowledge the parts of you that you do not like, and acknowledge the parts of you that you love. You may not like a part of your leg or a scar on your chest. You may not like maybe a bunch of things you may not like about your body. How much you weigh, how tall you are or short you are. Some things you know that you can change, and those things you should absolutely change if you have the desire. Some things you have to learn to live with, you have to learn to accept. So acknowledge your body, thank your body, and commit to taking care of your body even better than you have thus far. Commit to giving your body adequate rest, commit to giving your body adequate movement. You only get one of these bodies while you were here. One body during this experience. Take a few breaths in through your nose, out through your nose. Take another one in through your nose, Out through your nose. Take one more breath. In through your nose. Out through your nose. If you will, you can shake your hands out, shake out the energy, shake it out, 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 shake it out. Whew. Shake it out, shake it out. You can put your hands above your head, stretch. Bring your chest forward, your hands back. You can interlock your fingers behind your head. Up, raise your neck, look up. Mm. Oh, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. You should be a little bit more awake right now, right? 9 p.m. streams. I haven't historically streamed this time. Did a few streams this time. I may make a video, but to commit to streaming this time is tough. But I know that we have the morning shows, right? Monday through Friday. We got SR Daily. We got Sunday Light, 8 a.m. Sundays. And so I was thinking of another time to stream. I was like, I don't want to do the morning again. I know a lot of people may want to tune in, but they may be at work, maybe doing a whole bunch of things during the day. So like 9 p.m. could be a good time. So today we want to get more into my story, right? Who I am and why this matters, right? Who I am and why this fast matters. Who I am as artist, activist, entrepreneur, visionary, healer, student, facilitator, teacher, guide, brother, son, father, partner, friend, right? Who I am. I'm your brother, man. I often say, right? Like, I am a brother who is striving to make the world a better place. I am a brother who has known since I was 7 years old that, my mission in life, about 8 years old, right? At 7 years old, I saw Michael Jackson sing Heal the World, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And maybe for a year or so, I thought it was the singing and dancing, or not that I wanted to do the singing and dancing. I thought it was the singing and dancing that would get me the results, right? What I wanted to do was make the impact that he made. Right, when I watched Michael Jackson sing "Heal the World" in 1991, and all the rest of his music, but when I watched people faint, when I watched people like pass out, when I watched people cry, when I watched people react to him, to his presence in this way, it was like that's the impact I want. And again, initially I thought it was singing and dancing, right? But I realized not too long after that I could not sing or dance. That wasn't my forte, right? Although I still like to sing, I still like to dance. It's not something that I'm going to travel the world and impact people's lives with, right? And I'm okay with that. But what I realized was that it was my love of words. At that young age, I loved words. I love language. I think math, yes. Some science, yes. Art, of course. But it was language. It was language arts. It was the ability to communicate. That was my favorite subject, right? Language arts, loving words, how words are built, how words are structured, how you could say the same word with different tone. It can mean something completely different, all right? But yeah, man, that's like I'm a young man. I'm 40, just turned 42 yesterday. All right. I am a father. I am someone who not only have I known that, in some regards that my life mission as a young boy was to heal the world, to make it a better place, right? I learned young that pain was part of life. And for a while I didn't accept it, right? Losing my dad at 11 years old, seeing first murder at about 9, 10, right? Seeing friend kill another friend at 16 on my 16th birthday, right? The verbal assaults sometimes from my mama, right? When she was in pain and didn't know how to express it, right? And she was conditioned to, raise her children a certain way, right? Like, so all of the things that I experienced, I learned that, what, this is part of life. Life is painful, all right? And it's not something that you can avoid. You can try to avoid pain all you want. There are people who try to avoid pain, but life is pain. Someone's going to pass away. Someone's going to tell you no. There's going to be a rejection. You may lose a gig. You probably will lose a gig, right? One way or another, right? Something's not going to go in your favor, whether it's the home that you want to get, whether it's the apartment, whether it's the bus is going to leave you when you're running for the bus. There's going to be some things that are going to go, opposite of the way you want them to go, and it's going to have some type of impact on you. It's going to affect you in some way. All right. So I'm someone who learned early that pain is part of the process. You know, I, like many other young people in the hood, I played sports, played basketball, played football, right? Never took either one serious. You know, I was pretty okay. Played tournaments, football tournaments, basketball tournaments. I made the football high school team, right, as a receiver. And by that point, right, by the time I was 14, 15 in high school, I was already in the streets, and I had already got arrested a few times, right? I already had some more trauma, right, and some things that I was engaged in that was like, yeah, school is cool, and like I would love to play football, but I'm in the streets, man. And so I quit the team. Myself and two friends, we quit. All right, three of us made the team, and it was a quarterback and two receivers, and we thought we were going to do damage. And I think we had like in just practices. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think we had a scrimmage game. We might have had a practice against another. Yeah, it may have been a scrimmage against another team. It was either one light scrimmage or like just one full practice, and we realized that there wasn't going to be many passes. Where the high school football at that time was run dominant, right? This is 98, right? 98, 99. High school football was run dominant, run, even when it's not working, even when you're losing, run, and that's what they was doing. And myself, my boy who was a receiver, my boy who was a quarterback, be like, yo, like we played together before, like we know we can win, right? We looked at the history of the team, right? A few years they've had a team and didn't do too well, right? The projection wasn't like they were going to do too well. We was like, yo, but we can do something, right? We could do well, we could do good, we could score touchdowns, we can win some games. But it didn't look like that was going to be, like the plan. And so before the season even started, we quit. All three of us quit. I quit. One, I was in the streets. They were early in the streets. They just quit. And that was my decision, right? And it's something I don't dwell over at all. But it's something I look back like, what if I did not quit that high school team? What would life have been? And I fully understand that just because it was painful after that doesn't mean if I didn't quit, it would not have been painful. Doesn't mean if I didn't quit the high school team that something worse may not have happened, right? And so I understand the butterfly effect, and I'm grateful that life is how it is now. And I'm grateful that it went the way it went, because although it was painful, although there was a lot of uncertainty, there was a lot of fear some of those years in my life, right? Like, am I going to make it? Am I going to be alive? Um, I'm still here, and all of that I went through, it made me who I am. And it built me into a person who is loved, revered, and respected by many people, young and old, black and white, rich and poor, from not only my city, not only my neighborhood, my state, but across the country and across the world. There are people who know me who I don't even understand their language, right? And they know my work, they know my impact. I've been able to impact their lives, and I've never met them. There's some people who I've never met who, because of my work, because of my efforts, because of my organizing, because of my generosity, right, because of my commitment to healing the world and making it a better place, I've been able to positively impact their lives. And they don't know me, I don't know them, they may never meet me, right, and I don't understand their language, right. But that's the mission, right. And so I am someone who, through all of the pain, has remained optimistic for the most part, right? There were days when, I felt down, like it can't get no better, but I will always get back like, no, things are going to get better. Things are going to improve. And I think growing up in Queensbridge has that effect, right? It had like a dual effect. It has the effect of, it can make you feel like the worst things are happening, and it can make you feel like life is over, right? There's no point of living. And it can make you remember that every day is a new day, right? And so growing up in Queensbridge, seeing friends killed by friends, seeing so much poverty, seeing so much addiction, drug addiction, sex addiction, alcohol addiction, right, gambling addiction, right, shopping addiction, food addiction, seeing so much addiction growing up in Queensbridge, it 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 made me realize that one is not an individual issue, right? It's not just that person's problem. It's not just that person's problem, because there are so many different people, different types of people, right? Different ethnic backgrounds, different races, different cultures, different religions, right? Different daily habits, different occupations, different upbringing. So many different types of people are having similar experiences. It cannot be an individual thing. So growing up in Queensbridge allowed me to recognize that this is systemic. It is a systemic issue here, right? And it made me realize that, like, if individuals don't take accountability, if individuals don't work on themselves and commit personally, individually, it ain't no, like, the system itself is not going to change to accommodate you. You got to make the change, right? So Queensbridge showed me different things, right? Looking at the same thing, it gave me two different perspectives, or gave me multiple perspectives of the same issue. Right. So yes, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Yes, it's systemic. Yes, it's systematic. There are a lack of programs, lack of resources that really help foster human development and human becoming, and really help people process life's tragedies, life trials, and life's traumas. And individuals have to want it, right? Like, because if you want it, because there were some things, but the system beats you down so much, you like, F it, like, this is life. I guess this is what it's supposed to be, especially when you may come from a family where you have similar people, uncles, aunts, mothers, fathers, grandparents, who struggled their whole life. It's like, oh, this is just what life is. Life is full of struggle. Life is full of pain. Life is full of addiction. Life is full of heartache. All right. So Queensbridge is a very special place, man. You know, it's it was when people ask me how I was growing up in Queensbridge, I've often said that it was like the best of both worlds, because it was all of that. It was the pain, it was the shootouts, it was the drugs, it was the violence, it was the fighting, it was the poverty, yes, and it was the family, it was the camaraderie, it was the community, it was the basketball tournaments and the football tournaments and the baseball games, and it was the manhunt, and it was the barbecues, and it was the freeze tag throughout the whole neighborhood, right? Everybody, all the young people at one point, it was so many of us playing tag, right, and manhunt, that we literally like ran through the whole neighborhood, right? It was my friend's parent was like my parent. My parent was like my friend's parent, right? Where we can go to each other's house to eat. We can go to each other's house to sleep, right? If my mama kicked me out, I can go to my boy crib and sleep for a day or two until my mom was ready to let me back in, and vice versa, right? We were family. So Queensbridge, I think, like many projects, has that. Although yes, there is danger, right? Yes, there is crime, and there are things that happen that don't feel good, that don't look good, that may make you a little bit afraid. And there's a lot of beauty in the projects, right? And then Queensbridge, being the largest public housing development in the country, right? We were a little special because Nas will come around, Mobb Deep will come around, right? I remember Mobb Deep brought the Hot Boys, right? BG, Juvenile, Wheezy, Manny Fresh, right? Turk, right? They all came to Queensbridge. Hype Williams had a studio. Hype Williams had a studio in Queensbridge, right? 21st Street and like, or 40th Avenue. Right, Hype Williams had a studio and he shot a music video out there. Right, Roxanne Shante from Queensbridge. Right, like Queensbridge, growing up there, like being part of that community, you walk through a certain air, you walk through a certain confidence, because like, y'all from Queensbridge, like we do great things. Queensbridge, the place where stars are born. Right, and of course there are people in other neighborhoods, right, especially Brooklyn or the Bronx, who always had negative things to say about Queensbridge. And sometimes it would get crazy, but sometimes it was just like friendly banter back and forth, like, oh, you from this or you like that. But Queensbridge was special. The River Park right there, we had a swimming pool in our park. Queensbridge being close to Manhattan, close to Brooklyn, close to the Bronx. Queensbridge was right across the street from Silver Cup Studios, which has always given me like it's like rubbed me the wrong way, because we're so close to Silver Cup. Kaufman Studios is not too far, right? And we have there was no pipeline to filmmaking. There was no pipeline to TV production. There was no pipeline to acting for people from Queensbridge. And we live next to, again, Silver Cup Studios. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the largest, or it is still maybe the largest production studio in the Northeast, right? I believe. And then Kaufman Studios was up the block. Kaufman Studios, where they filmed Cosby Show and a couple of other notable shows back in the days, right? 80s, 90s, and I think early 2000s. A lot of stuff was being filmed at Kaufman. Right. So you're growing up in Queensbridge, man. It was an experience, right? It was painful, but it was beautiful, and I'm still here, and I am who I am in large part because of growing up in Queensbridge. If we did not move to Queensbridge in 1986 when I was 2 years old because of a fire that we had at our house in South Jamaica, I would not be who I am today. If I still be alive, I'll be completely different. Better? I don't know. Worse? Possibly. All right. I could even not be here. Right. So I'm grateful. All of the pain, all of the hurt, I'm grateful to still be here, right? And of course, growing up in Queensbridge led me to develop a certain mindset. If somebody does something to you, you do something back, right? And so, at 19 years old, 2003, I was shot, and because I was shot, I carried a gun, and I wanted to kill the guy who shot me, right? I wanted to kill him. I wanted to take his life because you don't do nothing to me, and nothing happens back to you. That's not how this thing works, right? You shoot me, there's gonna be consequences. And so I carried a gun with plans to kill this guy. And unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I did not kill him, but I ended up going to prison for another shooting. Another situation happened, and I overreacted, right? Some people had a fight, and my sister was getting jumped, and I overreacted to the situation, and some people came out the building, and I shot a gun at them, right? And it led me to prison. And what's wild about that is that I often say that experience, it didn't just change me, it saved my life, because I was really planning to kill the guy who shot me. He was also planning to kill me. I had a death wish, right? I did not really want to live. I was depressed when I caught my case and went to prison. I was mentally, emotionally like depressed. I did not want to live. I was drinking crazy, like every day, right? Or at least 3-4 times a week. I'm drinking hard liquor. I'm drinking a lot of it, and I'm drinking beer. And I'm drinking a lot of it, right? Very unhealthy lifestyle. Death wish. Literally used to wish that like I don't wake up in the morning. All right, please take me while I sleep. Do not let me wake up. And if I wake up, let something happen, right? And I tried to make bad things happen, right? And so like the worst of the worst, right? Worst of the worst, man. Mentally, emotionally, physically, I was making terrible decisions. Again, I've been kicked out of school every year since third grade, right? At that point, I got a GED. I got a little bit of college credits, right? A little bit of college experience, but like no degree, no certifications, no nothing. Just a death wish, really, just a death wish. And it was in prison that I remembered my gift for writing, right? I remember my love of writing. I remember that I was a pretty dope writer, generally, and in terms of poetry. I could write some poetry. And because I had a violent crime, I was in Oneida, we had this there was like an anger management thing we had to attend, and we would do groups inside of our dorm. And I don't know what made me, right? Because I was writing poems to girls, and I would send poems to like some family. Um, and I would write poetry just, sporadically in my book. And one day I shared a poem in the group, and a brother was like, "Yo, let me holler at you." And he was like, "Yo, I'm not really good with words, but can you help me write a poem for my twins?" Right? I think they had a birthday coming up or something like that. He was like, "Can you help me write a poem for my twins, and twin daughters?" So I wrote a poem. He willing to pay me. I was like, "You don't got to pay me. All right, like it's okay." And from that, other people started coming to me. Yo, Marston, I heard you wrote a poem for such and such. Heard you wrote a poem for such and such. And then people would, pay me to write poems. I'll give you, X amount of honey buns. I give you $10 commissary, $20 commissary. You write a poem for me. And of course, sometimes I would, not take it because like it's not what it was about. It was about helping my brothers. I've always longed for a brotherhood, right? Yeah, I always longed for brotherhood. And so it was kind of like a brotherhood being built around poetry, around emotional vulnerability. And I didn't use that word then, but like looking back, that's what it was. I was being emotionally vulnerable, and the people around me responded, right? And they became emotionally vulnerable, not just in the group and with us, but with their loved ones, with their wives, with their girlfriends, with their children, right? I wrote a poem for a dude up in Harlem, if I'm not mistaken, Bow-Legged Lou. And it was so dope. He was so open. I seen him in the streets. I seen him in Harlem when I was doing the I used to do a mentoring group, right? Real Men's Mentoring at Toro College on Wednesdays. And going to the mentoring group, I see Lou, and Lou's like, "Yo, babe, this Marston, this is the dude who wrote that poem." Like, "Yo, Marston, what's up?" He's like, "Yo, it was crazy, right?" But that was the impact of me remembering and me tapping back into that gift, tapping back into that spirit, right? And so, yeah, man, Queensbridge, being incarcerated, right? And then it was in prison that my mind began to change. When the guy who shot me got killed, he got killed when I was in prison, and my sister told me he got killed. And at first, I was happy. And just 3 days later, just sitting on my bed, I remember I believe I was still on a boat. I was still on a boat in the Bronx, VCBC, and I remember um, spirit be like, yo, don't be happy that the black man is dead. And I was going back and forth with myself, like, what? Like, he shot me. He was like, yeah, but if you wasn't in the streets, you wouldn't have got shot. And I was like, yeah, but no, nothing. Both victims of the same struggle. Don't be happy that another human, let alone another black man, is dead. And I wrestled with that for a while. But that's the fact that I wrestled with that. That's when I knew that my life was changing. That's when I knew that, like, I cared a little bit, right? Because before that, I didn't give a damn. Like, even when things would happen to my people, it was like, oh man, it's fucked up, but like, it's part of life. And it's like, nah, it don't have to be that way, right? And so, that's when my life was changing. And I came home, and for the first year and a half, I still didn't make the best decisions. And although I didn't make the best decisions, I did have a bigger vision for myself, right? I did have a bigger vision for myself. Although some of my daily decision making wasn't always in alignment with that bigger vision, I did have a bigger vision for myself, right? And through life's good graces, man, I was able to, start making some better decisions. Did not go back to prison, and I was able to transform my whole life. Right, I was able to rewire my brain, was able to literally reassess, reconfigure, restructure my heart. Right, start to love myself, start to accept myself, accept my gaps in my teeth, accept the dent in my head, accept the fact that my dad had passed, accept the fact that my sister had passed, accept the fact that some friends were killed and were never coming back, accept the fact that I went through the things that I went through growing up. Right, the being hit by my mom, the yelling, the name calling. I went through that stuff for a reason. And now, right, looking back, like coming out of prison, first changing my life, I was able to begin accepting those things for what they were. Right, and literally it was like layers, like little by little, I fully accepted the fact that my dad passed. I was angry with him for a long time for leaving, because like he passed, and then life became extremely painful, and I didn't have anybody to really like help with my mother, man, because my dad was that parent. My mother was the quote unquote disciplinarian. My dad was the one who would try to talk some sense into me. Right, my mother was the one belt and hit. And when he passed, and I still had to experience that, and now it was no buffer, there was no helper, right? It was no somebody to talk to. I'm like, Kim, you don't need to hit him. He da, 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 da. It was none of that, right? I was angry with him for a long time. Right, you left me when I needed you most. I was 11. Like everything, I'm going into puberty. Like everything is changing. I need you, Dad. You're not here. It's very angry. But fast forward, I was able to get over that anger. I was able to accept, like to detach, and like his passing had nothing to do with me, even though it impacted me. It was his life, his journey, right, that he experienced, and that the decision that he made led him there. I was able to come to that understanding. Same with my older sister Reese, who passed in '98 when I was 14. Right, I was able to understand those things. I was able to understand that my mother treated me the way she treated me because that's how her parents treated her. That's all she knew. All she knew was hostility. All she knew was yelling. All she knew was cursing. All she knew was name calling. Right, that's all she knew. And so, like, I can't blame her, because if I blame her, she could blame her parents, and everybody's still blaming everybody. So I was able to take accountability for the life that I had lived up until that point, and where I found myself at that point. Right. So as I began to transform my life, right, I said, first, all right, we're gonna stop hustling, we're gonna stop with the with the drugs, we're gonna stop like with the guns, we're gonna cut all that stuff out, and we're gonna figure this thing out. Little by little, first thing I did was commit to the peace movement. Like I commit to peace in my neighborhood, and I joined organization, right? A few different organizations I became part of that had similar mission, right, or that had a mission that was aligned with what I wanted to see in the world, right? And yeah, man, just literally, little by little, began meditating, started to change my diet, cut out pork, cut out beef, right, cut out chicken, little by little, and I just started to notice like more light bulbs going off, like, yeah, this is the direction you need to go. This is the direction you need to go, right? Even I guess first, I think even before I fully became vegan, I knew that eventually I would be fruitarian. It was like, if part of me is like, if anybody could do something, I want to be one of the people to do it, right? If there's anybody that could do whatever the most extreme thing is on earth and life, like I want to at least give it a shot, right? I want to at least give it a shot. If they say somebody freaking, like whatever it is, like somebody jumped from freaking the sun, right? I want to try that. right? And so that's how I got into fasting. It was like, first, it was like understanding that, you know, we were eating too much. I was eating too much. Humans eat too much. Like, let me stop eating. Let me give my body a rest. And then it was like, well, if this person fasted for this long and they say that this person was great, let me give it a shot. Like, that's what led to the 40-day fast. He said, you know, Jesus fasted for 40 days, 40 nights. Let me fast for 40 days and 40 nights and see what happens, right? So Gandhi did 14 days, 15 days of no food, no water even. Like, let me see. Let me get up there. So I've done 3 days, 3.5 days of no water, right? Of a breath or dry fast, as they call it, right? Like, let me push it to the limit. But again, like, this was all part of my transformation. I began listening to Dr. Sabi. I began listening to Phil Valentine. I began listening to what's the sister's name? She passed away. Somebody just spoke about her. It's a lot of people, man. I began listening to, right? A lot of men, a lot of women on esoterics and on metaphysics and on spirituality. Listen to different freaking pastors and preachers. Began listening to TD Jakes. Began listening to, you know, Gary Vee. Began listening to like so many different people. Jim Rohn regularly, right? And Brian Tracy, right? And Lisa Nichols, and so many people. Les Brown. I began listening to, and I began shifting my mindset, shifting my identity. Who am I? Who am I becoming? Like, who am I now? And who do I want to become? And what do I have to do to become that person? What mindset shifts do I have to go through, right? What thoughts, what habits do I need to let go of to become this version of myself? What version? World healer, right? That's who I am. That's my tattoo. That's the brand. I am world healer. And so in order to become that version at my best, what do I need to do? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to adopt, start doing, right? So we began meditating. We began, and mind you, I had a very bad back injury at one point, right? So began meditating, began massage therapy, but seeing myself healthy, right? Seeing myself, as a more positive figure in my community, as a more positive, not so much role model, but influence in my neighborhood, right? As I'm like, yo, I come from this place and had the same exact habits that so many people have, the bad habits, right? But if I can let them go, if I can adopt new habits, new daily habits that add to my life instead of taking away, right? Especially once I stopped drinking. I used to drink a lot, man. I first drank as a child. My grandfather gave me the rest of his Budweiser. He used to be like this much in a can. Like, if you want to sip, and I'm sipping Budweiser. And then at one point, 9 years old, gave me whiskey and put hair on your chest. I'm like, whiskey? Right? But my grandfather giving it to me, and he drinking it, and he cool, right? He got money, and people love him. Like, why not? This is just what we do, right? And so, like, once I was able to stop drinking 3 years ago, right? Again, more evidence of transformation being possible. Because as the saying goes, and it's very cliche, but if I could do it, anybody could do it. If I could go from someone who did not love himself, from someone who had a death wish, from someone who used to drink himself to the point of like passing out sometimes. If I could change my life, if I could, who again at one point I didn't care about my freedom. I don't care if I go to jail. If I could say, you know what? Not only do I want to live, I want to have life, and I want to have it more abundantly. And I don't want to go to prison. I want to be free. Even if I'm financially struggling, even if I have other struggles in life, I'd rather be free and struggling than in jail and so-called rich. All right? Like, that was all transformation. That was all mindset shifts. That was all alchemy. Being able to alchemize my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my experiences. Right? This happened. Take something from base to its highest form. Right? Like, that's extremely powerful. And I was able to do that. And so I know it's possible for others. I know that transformation is possible for others because I transformed. Not only did I transform, I've seen so many other people transform. There are people, my sister, right? My sister did 4 years in prison, did an 8-month probation violation. Then she did 3 whole years, 36 months. She changed her life. She hasn't been back to prison in 20 plus years, right? She came home in 2003. She ain't been back now once, right? So like, I've seen people transform. I've seen other people in my neighborhood transform, right? I've seen people who are severely addicted to drugs, crack cocaine, change their life. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. We got evidence of transformation throughout our world. We got Malcolm X, one of my favorites, transformed. We got so many people who transformed their lives. And so transformation is absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible, and it's probable. if you believe, and if you want it, if you want to transform, and if you believe that you can transform, and you do the work to transform, eventually your life is going to be completely different than what it was. Right? You're going to look back at some point and be like, holy snap, like that's where I came from. I remember being there. I remember being on the block. I remember drinking till I passed out, right? Multiple times. I remember all of the bad experiences, right? I remember all of the bad things that I did, right? Like the people who I hurt. I remember it. I remember the poison I pushed in my community. I remember it. It's part of my life. It's part of my history. But I wanted something different. And I worked my ass off to get something different. And so now we got something different, right? And for the last 19 years that we've been home from prison, the last 18 years that life has been completely different, right? Honored by multiple levels of government, damn near every level. I think the only level of government we have not received an award from, I don't know, probably attorney general or something like that, right? Because we got city council, we got state senate, we got assembly, all right? No, I don't. I think that's the one. I don't think I have nothing from an assembly member. I have council multiple times. We got senate. We got Congress, and we got. I don't got nothing from the mayor. Nothing from the mayor. Nothing from the governor. Right, but we got something from the president. Right, not this president, the last president. But yeah, man, life completely different, right? Honored by so many levels of government, honored by so many community organizations, recognized and supported by so many people, so many, news articles and news station appearances and magazine features, right? I'm just on the cover of another magazine, Conversations Live, right? Not Conversations Live, Conversations, published by Cyrus Webb. Cyrus Webb is a media mogul from Mississippi. Published the magazine. He published the magazine now 20 plus years, a little over 20 years. And the issue for March was Men on a Mission, and 25 men changing the world. And I'm featured in that, and I'm one of the 5 men that's on the cover, right? So shout out to him. Shout out to all the media outlets that have covered me over the years. I've been interviewed on multiple podcasts, dozens of podcasts, talking about my journey, sharing my perspective on violence or diet and food and health and mental health and all of the different things in our community and our society, right? But yeah, man, I was able to change my life, and I know transformation is possible, and so that is my goal. I've made that my mission is to help other people in the world transform their lives, right? Whether they are, addicted to drugs and alcohol, whether they are addicted to sex or gambling or shopping, whether they have a low view of themselves, right? Whether they feel like they're not enough, they're unworthy, they're not deserving, right? Regardless to what it is, right? We are building these companies, we are building these institutions to help people, one, like feel good in the moment, and then to cast a better vision for themselves, to cast a bigger vision for themselves, and have the tools, have the skills necessary to walk into that vision, to manifest that vision, to make that dream that they have for themselves a reality, right? And so it's possible. And so we're going on this journey. We are, doing this fast. We're doing this hunger strike. Soon we'll be outside, probably in the next week or so. We'll be outside doing this set up. So things are going to be completely different. So I'm excited for the slowness now. In terms of campaign donations, we didn't raise any money today, which is okay. There's going to be some days like that. I know that tomorrow I got some people to contact, some people to email, to really, text a lot more people. I respond to a lot more folks on social media. People shout out my birthday. Listen, man, if you want to support me, if you love the work that I do, please contribute to this fundraiser. We got a very, very, very big ask, $50 million, $5 million crowdfund. 45 million private donors, and I believe it's possible. I believe it's very possible. I just got to show up, do my part. That's all I can do, right? And so, yeah, man, that is tonight's stream, day two of this 50 days of divine discipline. We're going to be going, man. We're going to keep going. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit more about continuum specifically, right? We're going to explain it clearly. We're going to talk about what it is, why the world needs it, and how it helps people grow. That is tomorrow's stream. And before we get off of here tonight, right, I do want to ask a question that we're going to be asking as we go forward. Every night we're going to ask the same question, maybe some other questions, but the same question is going to be the root of it. And the question is, what are you willing to discipline in? Like, what in your life are you willing to let go of? What discipline in your life are you willing to take on in order to transform your life, in order to put yourself in a better position, right? What are you willing to do differently? What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to adapt? What habits are you willing to adapt? What habits or thought process are you willing to let go of in order to move you closer to the life that you want for yourself, right? In order to make you a better version of yourself, to make you the best version of yourself. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to help further your mission, to help bring the vision you have, not only for your life, but for the world, into reality? For me, I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to fast. I'm willing to forego my comfort, right? We fell yesterday, right? We did much of the day was okay, but we fell last night. Tonight, we're not falling. Tomorrow's going to be even better than today, all right? And then the day's going to get better as I get stronger. And as the days go on, I'm going to gain more clarity. Tomorrow, we're going to share more about the campaign, all right? More of a breakdown on where the money's going to go, how the money's going to be used, all right? And so again, if you want to be a part of this campaign, if you want to support this, this effort, join me in this effort. Rather, you can donate. You can hit me up and have your own team, right? You can lead a team of fundraisers, and you can go out there and fundraise for the campaign yourself. And yeah, man. Day 2, 50 days of divine discipline. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to go into next week, right? Because I know that the first few days is always tough. You start to question why you're doing it, right? I definitely questioned it. Like I was telling Mona earlier, like, why am I doing this shit? This shit is crazy. 50 days of no food is insane, right? You begin to question yourself the first few days. You begin to feel it. Your body is like, right? Yesterday I fell, right? Today I'm a lot stronger. Right, tomorrow I'm going to be even more stronger. So I'm excited as someone who has done a 14-day hunger strike, like outside, but I've done a 30-day fast and a 40-day fast before, and I've always gotten stronger in the second week, right? Like once we pass day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, I've always gotten stronger to the point where it's like, okay, we're just not eating. That's not what we're doing for however much longer, right? So yeah, that's what we're doing. And so next week, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's stream. I'm looking forward to getting more comfortable. I'm looking forward to getting more clear about what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, right? In more detail, in finer detail, so that I can share it with people who may have friends or family or a network of people who want to support, who want to donate, who want to invest, right? So yeah, man, I'm excited, and I'm getting more excited as I'm speaking now. Right? I'm getting more confident. I felt a little like earlier, right? And even a little while ago before starting this stream, I was writing in my journal, right? We got the World Healer 50 Days of Divine Discipline book, right? I was writing in the journal how I feel like I begin to question myself, begin to question my ability, begin to question my why, all right? But I was able to settle, like, I know why I'm doing this, and I know what the result is going to be, all right? Personally, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be stronger, I'm going to be wealthy, I'm going to be more clear, and in terms of professionally, like we're going to be more on target with our mission, right? And like, yes, we got to go now for $50 million, but the world that we're building, the universe that we're building is going to cost like billions of dollars to run annually, right? We're talking about like building housing, and not all free, no, but we're talking about creating a whole new world, right? Like we're going to create jobs, and we're going to create like it's so much. But we start with Continuum. We're starting with the Neuro Soul Liberation University. We're starting with funding the Whole Vibe and Miss Juicy and a few other organizations that I'm connected to. Right, we want to pour some funds into Connected Chef. We want to pour some funds into a few peace movements. We want to pour some funds right into Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. Some organizations, some institutions going to get. We want to give them $1 million. We want to give them $500,000. We want to give them $250,000. We want to give them $50,000. Right, that's going to fluctuate, but we want to give millions of dollars away. Right, as we invest in Continuum, as we invest in Neuro Soul Liberation University, the Whole Vibe of Miss Juicy, we also want to invest in the many people doing great things. And some of those people we're going to feature throughout this 50 days. Right, throughout this 50 days, we're going to feature different community heroes, different people doing great things out there. Right, we're going to bring them on. Sometimes we're going to be together in person. Some we're going to bring them on virtually. But I'm excited for it all to unfold. We're going to wrap this stream up tonight. All right. Remember the question, right? What in your life, right? What in your life are you willing to let go of, right? What is one thing you're willing to discipline yourself in order to change your life before tomorrow? Like today, today. What are you willing to do today, tonight, to discipline yourself to be better tomorrow? And it's not something you got to answer to me yet, right? You don't got to answer me at all. But it's something I'm going to ask that we drop in the chat as we continue to go forward. It's a question I'm going to probably ask every day, along with some other questions, right? But yeah, man, day 2 is coming to an end, coming to a close. Feeling a lot, right? Feeling grateful, feeling excited. Not so much feeling hungry, feeling thirsty. I'm about to go drink some water right now, and yeah, rinse my mouth. All right, drink some water, rinse my mouth, and get ready for tomorrow. Get ready for the week ahead. All right, we're gonna start packing. All right, because we do have to leave this place in the next few weeks, so we are going to start packing some stuff tomorrow. Spa tomorrow, detox. Right, we'll definitely want to do a nice detox as we continue to get into this fast, man. Right, birthday celebration. Still my birthday. Birthday today is done, but it's still my season. Pisces sun, and the next season is my season as well. Aries rising. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see my face slim back down. Right, a lot of fat on my face. I'm gonna start working out again. Right, haven't worked out in really in a couple of weeks. Yeah, excited to get back to workout. Excited to really fuel myself with water. Right, we doing for the first few days. We're doing water with sea moss. We are doing sea moss for the first few days of this fast. Right, just to give ourselves the essential minerals that we need. So I'm gonna go drink some water now. I didn't drink sea moss earlier. I'm gonna drink some sea moss now with some water. And get ready for the bed. Get ready for bed. Get ready for the bed. Get ready for bed and get ready for tomorrow. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Kimona Sham was in. Sefusen Kofa and the PPC was on. Thank you guys so much. And tomorrow let's build more. Peace and love. Thank you for tuning in.